The purpose of the flow is to keep on flowing, not looking for a peak or utopia, but staying in the flow. It is not a moving up, but a continuous flowing. You must move up to keep the flow going. Control of consciousness determines the quality of life. Individuals must become independent of the social environment to the degree that they no longer respond exclusively in terms of its rewards and punishments. People who learn to control inner experience will be able to determine the quality of their lives, which is as close as any of us can come to being happy. A person has to learn to provide rewards to herself. She has to develop the ability to find enjoyment and purpose regardless of external circumstances. It is not the skills we actually have that determine how we feel, but the ones we think we have. Most enjoyable activities are not natural. They demand an effort that initially one is reluctant to make, but once the interaction starts to provide feedback to the person's skills, it usually begins to be intrinsically rewarding. Attention is our most important tool in the task of improving the quality of experience. The best moments usually occur when a person's body or mind is stretched to its limits in a voluntary effort to accomplish something difficult and worthwhile. It is when we act freely for the sake of the action itself rather than ulterior motives that we learn to become more than what we were. It's a wise parent who allows their children to give up the things of childhood in their own time. Of all the virtues we can learn, no trait is more useful, more essential for survival, and more likely to improve the quality of life than the ability to transform adversity into an enjoyable challenge. Control over consciousness is not simply a cognitive skill. At least as much as intelligence, it requires the commitment of emotions and will. Few things are sadder than encountering a person who knows exactly what he should do, yet cannot muster enough energy to do it. Most of us become so rigidly fixed in the ruts carved out by genetic programming and social conditioning that we ignore the options of choosing any other course of action. Success, like happiness, cannot be pursued. It must ensue as the unintended side effect of one's personal dedication to a course greater than oneself. It's exhilarating to come closer and closer to self-discipline. The justification of climbing is climbing, like the justification of poetry is writing. You don't conquer anything except things in yourself. A person can make himself happy or miserable, regardless of what is actually happening outside, just by changing the contents of consciousness. How we feel about ourselves, the joy we get from living, ultimately depend directly on how the mind filters and interprets everyday experiences. The mark of a person who is in control of consciousness is the ability to focus attention at will, to be oblivious to distractions, to concentrate for as long as it takes to achieve a goal, and not longer. The foremost reason that happiness is so hard to achieve is that the universe was not designed with the comfort of human beings in mind. It might be true that it is quality time that counts, but after a certain point, quantity has a bearing on quality. When a man knows he is to be hanged in a fortnight, it concentrates his mind wonderfully. When adversity threatens to paralyze us, we need to reassert control by finding a new direction in when to invest psychic energy, a direction that lies outside the reach of external forces. The solution is to gradually become free of societal rewards and learn how to substitute for them rewards that are under one's own powers. We do not run risks acting on our beliefs, but occupy hours each day watching actors who pretend to have adventures engaged in mock, meaningful action. The flow experience, like everything else, is not good in an absolute sense. It is good only in that it has the potential to make life more rich, intense, and meaningful. The ultimate test for the ability to control the quality of experience is what a person does in solitude, with no external demands to give structure to attention. Talking well enriches every interaction, and it is a skill that can be learned by everyone. Happiness is not something that happens. It is not the result of good fortune or random chance. It is not something that money can buy or power command. It does not depend on outside events, but rather on how we interpret them. Almost every situation we encounter in life presents possibilities for growth, but these transformations require that a person be prepared to perceive unexpected opportunities. Increasingly, the emphasis has been to value behavior over subjective states. What is admired is success, achievements, the quality of performance rather than the quality of experience.